So after years of like depression, irritability, mood swings, anxiety, just worthlessness, really. I had got therapy, and well, so I got married in 2000 and what's this? 2011. I was about 19. Anyways, he was nice. He had his red flags though. But he was nice. We loved each other. We was in love. Anyways. But I kept feeling like shit. And he didn't really make it any better. Especially when we made a big move from one state to another. And I just, I guess I got more depressed. I was homesick. My mom and everybody else was in a different state, but his mom and family was like in the current state. Anyways, I was feeling homesick. It was just him and my son. I kind of felt isolated. Well, things started to take a wrong turn when we got here. They didn't start off on a good foot with his family, but things have changed, I guess. Anyways, so yeah. So back to the bipolar. I had my second child, and with that one, I went through postpartum depression. I try to make excuses for him, like I didn't know what it was, and therefore you couldn't know how to handle it, or handle my emotions, being sad, or, feeling the way I was feeling. But he sat me on the porch one day and was like, look, you need to get it together. You need to get it together. Or, I'm just saying, you need to get it together. And I'm tired of waiting on you to get it together. So I was like, okay. So I started therapy. And then I was on medicine. And then I got into school and I got a job. I was working a job and going to school at the same time. I just know he told me that I needed to get it together. And I did. Anyways, things kind of still was like, because I felt like he was kind of controlling. He didn't want me to like sit after work, like maybe 30 minutes or so. He didn't like that. So we had arguments about that. Anyways, so the depression I don't feel like it started until I got moved to another state. Like, I was isolated. It was only him and my son, and then my daughter. And sometimes I would go back to Chicago. But then it was just like, just to visit. Anyways, he was a decent man, but he was also very cold-hearted. He was raised by a single black woman, and I don't want to insult him, so I just don't agree with his version of love. It was tough. We had agreed when we moved down here to I was gonna stay home, be a housewife, teach my son until he was time to go to school, and stuff like that. And that all was working, but then one day he had butt dialed me while he was at a friend's house, a co-worker's house. Some dudes complaining about me. I was hurt. I was blindsided, shocked. Like, nigga, why you ain't tell me how you felt? Talking about I don't do nothing, I just sit at home all day. Like, I thought that's, what the fuck? And I do something. I got a 2-year-old running around this motherfucker. You think I just sit at not doing nothing all day? Anyways. He used to talk shit about me to his mama. So she had her views because all she kept saying is her baby boy working hard. I'm not saying, oh, he a man, he's supposed to work hard, but we had a discussion to ourselves, so why are you portraying it like I'm not doing nothing? Anyways, So that happened, and we moved back to Chicago. Not that long, for like 8 months probably, but we both realized Chicago ain't where it was at, and so we came back to where we was left from. And I got a job, but my sister also moved down here, and I ain't gonna lie, I was happy. She came down here. She had a lot of kids, and when I say a lot, 8, 9 at the time. And she came down here and she stayed with us in our apartment for like 2 weeks. And then, so that was a big problem that he had, even though we were staying with her for the 8 months when we moved to Chicago. But I don't know. And then, so once I got a job, and that was even more problems. He thought I was cheating. Just, I guess, being flirtatious with everybody up there, maybe. My sister also had a job within the same company, and so we would see each other out doing our routes. And sometimes I would stay and help her finish hers, and sometimes she would stay and help me finish mine. But he didn't like it, and I'm not even gonna lie. Having my own money and the way that he used to treat me when I didn't, call me lazy, a bum, take the keys and say it's his car, and he paid for this and paid for that. Like, that shit brought out a villain error. When I got a job, I just was like, you can't tell me what to do with this money. It's my money as long as I'm putting it on bills. That's what he used to tell me. He paying the bills and woo, woo, woo. Like, I felt the same way now that I was making some money. Like, shit. But it backfired. Because one of them days into the year, I think my sister's birthday was the next day, and I had to get up and go to work, and I felt like he had hid my keys to my car. But because he knew that, I was finna go, it was after work, so I was gonna take my son and we was gonna go to her house and then go get our hair done and something like that, because her birthday was the next day, and then my birthday was a week later. But I don't know. I can say that I got really mad because I felt like he had hid my keys, because I knew they were on the counter, and then when I was looking for them, they weren't there, and then somehow he magically found them, and I was just like, why are you doing this? Why are you acting like this? And you always fucking with me, and some other shit that I was saying. And I think his thing was, so you just gonna come in and, wash up, change your clothes, and you just gonna go to your sister's house? I can't fully remember. All I know is he was tripping. And so I was like, I ain't gonna go nowhere then. And I walked into the kitchen and I said, cause you wanna act like a bitch. I walked into the kitchen, I was putting the dishes in the dishwasher and said that. Next thing I know, lights out. All I saw was white. And then he choked me up. I wasn't fighting him back because, first of all, I was shocked. And that was that. So he did that. Mind you, our son is like, I don't know, in the living room, in the room, somewhere. So I wasn't fighting him back, but I was just like wrestling with him to get his hands off of me and stuff like that. But he ended up telling my son to unlock the door, open the door. And he ended up dragging me out the door by my hair. My son was 3. No, he was 4. My son was 4. Yep, he did that. And I left and went to my sister's house. I put makeup on my lip. And I had a drink. And she said that I called him and begged him to, like, don't change the locks, because that's what he was saying. But I remember calling the front desk saying, like, oh, he's going to try to change the locks, and they telling me, like, oh, he can't do that, you know, it's an apartment. So, that, and that was in 2014. In 2012, a year after we moved down now, he was working his job, right? And he had called me before he was getting off. He was supposed to get off like 2, 3 in the morning. And he was like, oh, I'm going to go to my friend's house, my coworker. Mind you, he only had that job for like a year. He said he's going to his coworker house, chill. I'm just like, okay, cool. Please don't stay out too late, you know. But like the sun gonna be up. And he's like, all right. But he didn't get there till like 9. I was playful with him because he was knocking on the door. And I was like, I ain't letting you in. I ain't letting you in. And I waited right there, but when I opened the door, he was gone. So, like, it literally was like, I ain't letting you in. And when I opened the door, he was gone. Like, what the fuck? But he went down and sat in his car. And it was hot as hell outside. Well, it got hot as hell outside. Anyways, I kept peeking out the window trying to see when he was going to get out of his car. And he got out and he came inside probably like 30 minutes to an hour later. And I was sitting on the couch and I remember smiling. And I was like, it's hot outside. He walked in the room. He came back out, pulled his belt off. And I was like, what? He got to swinging that bitch at me. Yep. Swinging that hoe. Talking about, you want to act like a child? I'm going to beat you like a child. That was in 2012. I ain't never told nobody about that. Everybody know about when he drugged me out the house in 2014. I felt dumb each time because of knowing what my own mother went through with her first husband. I felt stupid. But then I was just like, I guess. So, okay, it's 2014. And so I quit. Well, I didn't quit. My job. I got terminated. It was a 360 contract, so it didn't matter. So boom. Now I don't have a job. Middle of 15, 2016, made a year. I had a miscarriage in 2016. And then I ended up having my rainbow baby in 2017. So I didn't have a job in 16, 17, 18. The postpartum depression was like really fucking with me. And so that's when he did the whole, get your shit together. I'm tired of waiting on you to get your shit together. So I went all in, got a job, went to school, therapy. I was helping with the bills, sending him fucking money. Now, in 17, my sister came down and she stayed with me, I want to say another 2 weeks while I was pregnant. She was pregnant too, but I had asked him, could she come stay? If he would have said no, he would have said no. He was paying the bills. So that's that. And that's something that we argued about. And then, so 19, I have a job, but then COVID hit, and that was like layoffs and shit. So I had a job for a year. I still went to school, but I had a job for a year because it ended in 2020. But good thing though, I was working like 15 hours a shift. And going to school. Anyways, doing my thing. And then what happened? So this is 2020 now. He ended up losing his job too. I think because some type of call-off reason. So we both was on like unemployed in 2020. Not the whole 2020, but in 2020. My mom was here, which was nice. I spent my 2020 birthday with her. And that was the first time that he had like fixed up a hotel room for me. Like balloons and petals and shit. I was really happy about it. And then he had to go on the road, driving and stuff. And eventually he had got a job at this place. And I didn't see anything wrong. Nothing. It didn't seem like nothing was wrong. Yeah, we both might have been unemployed for like 5 months, 6 months. But I was making it work. Then he got back on the road. Then he got off the road, found a local job. And we wasn't talking as much. Like on the phone, like while he at work. So here comes December, and January 1st, we have a discussion where he said he gonna stay with his mama for a few days because we've been arguing. We have been arguing a lot. And in 3 days, that motherfucker said, I want to get separated. I immediately start crying. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Why? We just be arguing. It ain't that fucking serious. We just need to communicate. What the fuck is you talking about? A separation. Blindsided. So, for the month of January and February, he would spend a night at our apartment and then stay at his mom's house. At that point, he became her ride or die. And then the job he was at was temporary. So he was still, he had to find another one. He was on the road or whatever he was doing. But my mom, she was with me during this. And she prayed with me. We did like a cleansing of the house. Just tried to get God back in the space and get me out of this desperate depression. And she died. She went to the hospital. She was there for 8 days. I picked her up, brought her back to my place because that's where she said she wanted to go. He was there, arguing with me on the porch about his car because something was wrong with the rims. It wasn't my fault. It was the rims were too big and they were rubbing up against the car. I don't fucking know, but I know I had to send him $400. I went to wake my mom up the next day and she was gone. She was gone. Myocardial fracture or some shit like that. She in her sleep. So all that had happened. Family was supposed to be coming over while she lay on the couch. Do you know this man said to me before all my family got there? Like, better watch out. You never, they might try to blame you. Might try to say you killed her. Nigga, what? Why the fuck? I still don't know why the fuck he said that shit. I still do not know. Nobody in my family would ever think like that. Especially about me. I am the most lovable, fucking laughable, humorous, goofy, silly, fun. People talk to me. My family talk to me. They get advice from me. Like they think I'm the most level-headed motherfucker. So why would you say that to me? I looked at him like, what? I had nightmares because he said that shit to me. Because when I had to wake her up, I had to give her chest compressions. And I could hear the sound just going out, nothing coming back in. So in my dreams, I would be giving her chest compressions and pushing, and instead of her chest rising, just going down and down. And then him saying, you killed her. They think you killed her. Anyways, so she died, and we got back together, and we both tried to find a job, and we did. I found a job at the place that he worked at temporarily, and he was on the road. And he worked really hard to get us into a rental house because he worked really hard. He worked so hard that he almost fainted from lack of oxygen because he was doing too much work and then coming back trying to move into the place. So, but we found the place, and yeah. So we were in that place. My mom died in February. We got that place in March, April, May, June, July, August. 6 months later, we got that place. It was a house. For 10 years, we lived in an apartment. And then I started working there. So once I started working at that place, I started looking around like, this ain't This ain't like where he used to work. Where he used to work, that place that he got laid off from, it was like a bunch of men. It was a manly job. But this place that he temped at was a mixture. Mostly women, though. It was a mixture, though. So I kept thinking to myself, you started working here at that time, and then around that time, we started arguing more, and then you wanted a separation after 3 days. Something didn't click. Something didn't click at all. Or something did click. But, couldn't prove anything. Couldn't figure out the reason why you blindsided me with a separation. Not until October. My brother needed his PO number. And I said, oh yeah, your PO called me, I think it was last week. And he like, you still got the number? And I'm like, no. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could look in my call log. And see, like my bill. So I go to my bill and I look and I find it. And I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute. Press the arrow show you years, because I've been with AT&T for years. So I'm like, damn, you could look at a call log from years ago. So I go back to 2020, that time frame where he said he wanted a separation after 3 days. And then that's when I saw everything. He got that job in October. November, he was talking to this number every day, all day. 4 hours, 5 hours. Get off the phone, get back on the phone, 3 hours. His whole work shift. Then while we were separated, he talked to her every day. That's what he kept saying. Mind you, we got separated January 3rd in his mind. You start talking to that bitch November. That means you was cheating for 2 months. In my logic, 2 months you was cheating. Whether you went to see her or not. It's emotional cheating. Fuck is you talking about? So I brought it to him. Kept asking him about it. Why you want to bring up stuff from the past? And eventually I pressed him and he tell me it was his supervisor. It was a female supervisor that he said he had to whisper to so he can eventually get a permanent position now. The fuck I look like Boo Boo the goddamn fool, you dumb motherfucker? You cheated. You're a hard worker. You kept the job for 10 years. Ain't no motherfucking way you thought you needed to sweet talk a bitch to keep a job. The bitch ain't even a hiring manager. So, to be continued.